at least I'm learning. Okay, so what do you want to know about weight loss?
How do we lose this December weight that we put on? All the rices and the ice creams and the cakes that we all ate.
Eat once a day and move on with your life.
Thanks for sharing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so without much further ado, we'll just welcome the President of Women in HR, Temitayo Samson Grace. Thank you so much for steering the ship, and welcome to the session, Madam President.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me. I can't hear myself.
Yes. Yes, we can. We can hear you. We can see you.
Right. Okay, amazing. Good afternoon and Happy New Year, everyone. It's so refreshing to be here again. It's our first official webinar for 2023. And I think it's a good way for us to start the year. We've already, I feel the energy already, and I would plead with everybody, please let's keep this energy up throughout the session. It's supposed to be a very interactive session. I'm just here to facilitate the conversation, really, because goal setting on its own and visioning is a practical thing. We must, so I would expect that we have our paper, our notebooks, our pen, ready to jot and ready to actually also practicalize some of the things that I'll be sharing. Okay, just give me a second to take this off the screen. Okay, so a few housekeeping. Take this to the side. All right, so this webinar is currently being recorded and we should be able to share it with all registered participants. Please keep your microphones muted, except you are called to speak. Avoid multitasking. Try to, just focus and let's just be here together. Active participation is really encouraged, and please feel free to raise your hands at any time to ask questions. Okay. All right, we've done a bit of this already. I will just move on. Okay. So why is this session important? And when we're preparing for this session, one of the things that came to mind was, everybody's preparing for the year. There are a lot of these conversations going on at this time. People are setting goals. People are, just trying to plan the year. Some people are still having their New Year resolution. And it just feels like, for some people, it's overwhelming. It's like, I did this last year and I can't do it again. I don't think I did this last year. I 2022 just went in a blur like that. I didn't do any of this goal setting, but this year I actually want to do it. So this is our case study for today. Her name is Amber, and she really needs our help. And I hope that at the end of this session, we can actually advise Amber and we can, help her get out of this misery. I'm sure somewhere in this session, there is an Amber amongst us, right? Someone that is not even sure how to move on, someone that is not even sure what is next for their lives, right? It's common. Nobody has it all figured out. That's one thing that I want everybody here to know. Nobody has it all figured out. Even the people that seem like, oh yeah, I got my goals all together, everything is just all set. Everybody's trying to figure it out along the way. If somebody tells me that, oh yeah, I have my 5 years plans all figured out, I'll tell you that, see, after 1 year, you probably want to throw out that plan because things will change and you might not be able to go through with that plan. So we're here today to create, one of the things I've noticed that people do is the way goals are created, the way we decide what we want to do is not sustainable. So we find ourselves yearly trying to rethink again, okay, so what's my life about again this year? What am I going for? What is going to happen this year? What do I want to achieve and all that? But there's a way for you to be able to build on this process. And that's why we're having the visioning and the goal setting. We could have had just the goal setting, and then in this session, we'll just say, 2023, I want to be a billionaire, and I'm just going to set myself up. These are the things I'm going to do at the end of 2023. I record my billion, and then next year again, I go over this again, and I'm going to set another goal for next year. That's not sustainable. And the reason is, when you set goals that way, you find out at some points in the middle of the way during the year, you get burnt out. Life happens, different things just happen, both here and there. And a lot of us lose track. We just, fall off the wagon. I have fallen off the wagon a lot of times. I've seen people that started with all the energy and all the, I want to achieve this is my goal. And I just maybe June, they're like, see, I'm tired. I'm not doing this again. And, all of that energy, everything just dies down. You're like, don't worry, next year we'll go again. So for us to avoid that, we go again every year. We need to create a sustainable approach to this goal setting. We need to be able to keep our energies up through the year. I'm just setting this foundation so that when we go through, quickly run through these slides, we have exercises that we're going to go through. We have conversation, there are things that we're going to discuss. There are things that we're also supposed to do. Now, I'd like to quickly ask, the career tool that was shared, please, who went through it? Who was able to find their way around it? I would really like to know how many people went through it. And I would also like to have maybe 2 people that went through it just share their experience with it and if they found it useful or not.
Hi, my name is Kemi. So I did mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went through it, and yeah, so it was quite useful. So I was able to identify my current position, to even cement that the skills I have now correlate and I'm on track. And then I was also able to look at the successive positions ahead of me that I could aim for, and the skills and prerequisites that were needed for that.
Amazing, amazing. At some point, I would, crave your indulgence. I don't know if it's just you that went through it. I would like to know if any other person went through it, because we also would just go through a sample here. So I will share my screen I'll share that screen at some point, and then we'll just go through it together just to see how it works and how very useful it is, especially in this visioning process and goal setting process. Did anybody else go through it that would like to also share? Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good
Hi,
afternoon. My name is Mercy. I went through it. It was quite helpful. It was able to point me through the cadres of the path I am currently on, and then looking forward to how to grow into those positions. It also highlighted the current roles that are hot cake in the market, because there was a highlight on the part where I check for skill, and also I checked for the industry scale price. I was able to get the current amount, and then if I grow into it, how much increase my salary would have grown into and all.
Amazing.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Fantastic. I'm glad that, I don't want to believe really that just 2 of us that went through it. Because I think we had enough time to have gone through that, and trust me, it's a very useful tool. Let me apologize in advance for anyone that is not in HR that is on this call. This call was put together by women in HR, and a lot of things that we're going to be talking about will most likely be in that direction. But I will just ask that you also find a way to, apply whatever we are talking about, especially this career tool. We're going to go through it shortly. I would ask that you also, just think about your own career. A bit of research will probably help you to look into what is the next level for you, what are the skills required, what other career path is linked to your next level. Okay, so I'll just go through this slide quickly, and then I would go back to that career too. All right, so okay, so this section is visioning and goal setting. And like I laid the foundation earlier, before you say you want to set goals, you must be sure where you're going to before you start setting goals. Now, what mistake people make, a lot of people make, is that they set goals that actually being clear. Yeah, you say that, oh, my goal is where I'm going to, right? But you see, because the goals a lot of time is short, it's short term, right? Now it's like a snapshot in time. It's I set a goal now for 2023 is what I want to achieve for 2023. But you see, the way a goal works and the way it's supposed to be sustained, that it will be sustainable for us, is when we have a bigger picture. Now, if you think about a company that says we have a vision to become the best in Africa, now they begin to set goals every year that will move them closer to becoming the best in Africa. Now, for individuals, if you don't have a vision of who you want to be years down the line, if you don't have a picture of what you want to become, any goal you set, right, is not going to be sustainable. You find yourself going through that process again and again, and then sometimes you find yourself confused. You will not be able to tell if you're moving in the right direction or not, because you don't actually have the big picture clearly set before you. Now, visioning is what is going to help you set that big picture. What does visioning do for you? It helps you define where you want to go as an individual, right? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Now, one element of visioning is the ability to see. Now, if you want to do your visioning right, your sight must be clear. Now, I'm not saying these eyes that you can see outside, your inner eye. Your inner eye must be able to see who you are beyond this present moment. Who do you want to become? Now, when I was thinking about this whole session, what came to mind was, if I was going to describe myself to my grandkids in the next 50, 60, 70 years, how do I want to describe myself? How do I want people to talk about me in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Now, if I have a picture of who I want to become at that time, it's going to inform a lot of decisions, a lot of actions, a lot of steps, a lot of things that I do in the present moment. You will find a lot of people that get to their old age and they begin to wonder, what have I done with my life? What has become of me? They begin to feel very, unfulfilled. It's at that time, some people, when they're 60, they now start, oh, so what have I done with the past 40 years of my life? I can't exactly pinpoint what my achievements are. And that's because they did not take the time, like we are doing today, to paint a picture for themselves of what their life will be in the next few years. Okay, we're getting there. Let me dwell a bit more on this. Now, when you are creating a vision, right, what you create is going to be affected and determined by how clear your eyesight is, your sight. Now, not these eyes, your inner eyes, right? Now, there are things that can affect your sight. There are things that can affect what you see. Your past experiences can actually blur your vision. For a lot of us, we are being held back a lot of times because of the things we have gone through in our past. We have not allowed ourselves to take a step further. We have not allowed ourselves to move further than where we are because of the things that have happened to us in the past. If you allow your past blur your vision, you will never be able to move beyond your past. Now, having a clear eyesight also has to do with the environment you find yourself. Some people, the environment actually limits them. It does not allow them to see beyond where they are. Now, if you're not seeing beyond where you are, if you continue to limit yourself by your present environment, then you cannot actualize the person that you're supposed to be. So there are things that we're going to shed off today. You're going to allow yourself to move beyond what your past has defined for you. Your past is gone. Your past is not a definition of who you are going to be. Now, you must continue to remind yourself, because the past, it's an experience, right? But some of us, right, instead of learning from that experience, we allow that experience define the decisions we are going to make for our future. Because you failed in the past and because you made a mistake, you're not willing to take a risk again because you don't want to make the same mistake. I mean, come on. So we need to shed off that weight. If you really want to be free enough to move towards the future you must shed off the weight, all of the things that are holding you back, your beliefs. What are the things that you're feeding yourself as an individual? What are the things that you are allowing yourself, allowing into yourself? For a lot of us, we look at, okay, I'm in Nigeria. Nigeria seems there are no opportunities here. And so it just automatically means I'm not going to make it. For some people, they believe if I'm not in UK, if I'm not in Canada, I can't make it. I'm just so limited because I'm in Nigeria. Now, those limiting beliefs will actually not let you step out of that space that you have confined for yourself. What are your beliefs? What do you hold in your heart as your belief? Now, I'm not here, this is not a motivational, I mean, this is the reality of life. Your reality is actually created by the things you see and the things that you believe. Because if you're not seeing the right things, if you're not exposing yourself to the right things, right, you cannot actually you can't grow beyond your capacity. So you must do away with those limiting beliefs today. I mean, it's an ongoing process, but I'm hoping that by the time you leave here today and you are going to create that personal vision and you are going to create, you are going to begin to create your life goals. You will not allow the beliefs that you have that you cannot do or be something because you're in an environment that is seemingly limiting. You will not hold yourself back because of those beliefs. And you will not hold yourself back because of the environment you find yourself. And you will not hold yourself back because of your past experiences. Some of us also hold ourselves back because of the experiences of others. You heard that somebody tried this and they didn't succeed in it. And so I'm not going to try it because I don't want to feel like they did. Come on, who told you that your story would turn out like theirs? But you see, there's so much you can do. There's so much you can become. If you look at yourself today and think about where you were some 5 years ago, did you picture today? I don't think you picture today. I don't think you picture that you're going to be in this kind of session. Now, but there are ways to become very intentional about living. There are ways to become so intentional about the life you have that the outcome you have, you can create it yourself. You're going to see how we're going to create those outcomes for ourselves. You can create the life that you want. You don't have to wait for life to happen to you. There are a lot of people, I mean, I usually say to people, when you see this rich, the rich people and the wealthy ones, they actually create the future of their children. They're intentional about the schools that their children go. They're intentional about the activities they get involved in. They are very intentional about the company that they keep. They're intentional about the places that they go because they know what it requires to get that future that they want for their children. They already created a picture of the future they want for their children. And so they begin to intentionally put their children in the path that would get them to that future. But how many of us are very intentional about creating that future for ourselves? If I ask any of us right now, when you're 80, where do you want to be? What do you picture yourself as when you're 80 years? What do you see for yourself? Have you thought that far? I mean, it doesn't mean that life won't happen. It doesn't mean that exactly what you picture today is going to happen. I'm not saying, I mean, life happens, right? That's the beauty of life. What you see, you feel more in control when you already create a picture for yourself. You feel, I mean, you begin to live a very, very intentional life. Intentional in the sense that the person you want to become is what would dictate the kind of company you keep today. I tell people, I'm like, just imagine that from your 100 level, you're already determined. If we're that intentional, you're already determined that I want to come out with a first class. Now, you now bring that first class that you want to become, you bring it to the present, and then you start telling yourself, if I want to be a first class student, then I must not do this. I must not keep this company. I must not do these certain things. People will call you foolish, people will call you names, but you know the kind of future you're trying to create. When you get that first class, it will be a surprise to you because you have been walking in that path from the beginning. That's the power of visioning. Visioning is creating that mental picture of what you want. And it's not a waste of exercise. I mean, it's not a waste of, sorry, excuse me. It's not a waste. It's not a waste because by the time you begin to do that, by the time you have created that future for yourself, it's easy for you to know the things you commit your time to, what you will commit your resources to, what you will commit your energy to, the kind of people you will associate with. You will not just find yourself in certain places and you're wondering, how did I get here? You see what happens to a lot of us. I mean, you see people running around now. I want to travel out. I want to go and study abroad. Oh, but I don't have this. I don't have that. Imagine if you had determined from 5 years ago that in 2023, I'm going to travel out. I want to travel out. And so for me to qualify to travel out in 2023, these are the things I must begin to do from now. These are the documents I must begin to gather. I must have this kind of credential. I must, you know. Now, when it's 2023 and you get it so easy, people are like, oh my God, it's so lucky. No, it's not luck, it's plan, it's intention. So I'm hoping that today we are all going to live here, not just, you know, with the fire of, yes, I've heard this, I'm just fired up, I'm going to go and create. You would actually live here to begin to live that kind of life beyond your career, in your personal life, even in your career. I think about it myself. I'm like, okay, if I had known some years ago that I'm going to be in this career path, are there things that I've done differently? Yes. Somebody said sometimes ago that the wisdom that you get after something happens is not wisdom, it's actually regret. If you start thinking, oh, now I know better, I should have done this, that's regret. Wisdom is knowing what to do before you need to know what to do. And that's what visioning gives you. Wisdom is being able, you know what you need to do before that situation arises. That's wisdom. Wisdom is not, after it has happened, you're not saying, oh, I wish I knew. Oh, now I know better. So we're here to, you know, equip ourselves with wisdom. We're here to equip ourselves with the right tools. We are here to become intentional people. I'm hoping that the 57 thereabout people here will live here and begin to live an intentional life. Now let's move forward. Okay, so creating your vision, it requires you asking yourself questions. Creating your vision is not something that just happens. It's something that you have to sit with yourself and ask yourself questions. Now, for you to create the right future for yourself, you need to know who you are right now. If I ask 1 or 2, 3 people, who are you? The who are you, the answer you will give me will not be a definition of who you are, but maybe what you do. It might not even be a definition of who you are in the real sense. It might be a definition that people are giving to you as a person. We allow people to define us. We allow circumstances define us. But if you really want to know who you are, you need to introspect. You need to ask yourself questions. And for you to create that future that you deserve, for you to create that future that belongs to you, you must know who you are. Why are you here? Why are you existing? What are your habits? What are your values? Especially, what are your values? What do you value? What do you hold dear? Have you thought that deep enough to know what you hold dear? Who are you? Many people find themselves, in just, I'm sorry to say, but there are a lot of people that just find themselves in HR, right? Without actually intentionally say, okay, I want to study HR. Some people find themselves, maybe is finance. A lot of people have found themselves in tech industry just because, oh, that's what everybody's doing. And they will eventually find out that tech is not for them. But because they have a poor knowledge of who they are, it's easy for them to follow trends that are not actually applicable to them. If you have no strong self-knowledge, it's easy for you to get swayed. It's easy for you to get distracted. It's easy for you to lose your identity if you don't understand who you are. And so the journey starts from there. The question is, who are you? How self-aware are you? How do you know the things that excite you? Do you know the things that get you angry? Do you know the things, I mean, not on the surface level, deep inside your heart, do you know these things? Have you had this conversation with yourself? So being self-aware is what will help you create that future that you deserve and the future that will matter. Now, answering the why, you want to become a billionaire. Why? The why is what makes it sustainable. If you don't have a why and you cannot, like to yourself, you can't actually answer the question why. It's very easy for anybody to come and tell you there's no way there. That vision you're having for yourself, it can't work, it's not possible, just forget it. But if you have a strong conviction, if you have answered the question, why does it matter that you become who you want to be? Why does it matter that people know you for who you want them to know you for? Why does it matter? The question why, and when you ask the first why, you ask another why, that's why. And then you keep asking until you get to the crux of the matter. Why does it matter? Why should you become, why should life be kind? Why should you get what you're saying you want to get in life? Why? Life would throw those questions at you. Situations will arise that will make you question, does it even really matter? Should I even still be towing this path? Should I even still be going in this direction? It is the why that will help you weather any storm that comes your way on your journey to that future self. Because the storm will arise, but you need to be sure that you have a solid foundation. You have a solid understanding of that person that you want to become. It is not just, putting your pen to paper and just writing down some lofty and sweet words that have no depth. If the things that you say you want for yourself has no depth, it has no, anything can happen. And then you just lose touch of yourself and you're just like, oh my God, I'm done. I don't think I can do this anymore. So the question why, very important. Now, when you get to that place, would you know you have gotten there? When you become that person, would you know how and what does success look like? The point of visioning is for you, I said earlier, that create a mental picture. Now, there are areas of your life, right? You need to create a mental picture of what that looks like. What does success in life look like to you? What does success in your family look like? Because if you don't know what it looks like, you can't tell when you're there, and you cannot appreciate your journey, because if you are not sure what you're looking for, you definitely will get lost. You might have even found what you're looking for, and you don't know that that's what you're looking for. So, define for yourself in this moment, what does success look like? And that's the mental picture that we're creating today. You need to look inwards and ask yourself, what does success look like? Will it be when you stand before 1 million people and you are speaking? Is that what success looks like for you? Because again, if you don't know what success looks like, when you see a lookalike of that success, you assume that's the success. I want to speak before a crowd. but I have not determined what size of crowd, who are these people, what do they look like, what do they do. Now, if I find myself standing before 100 people, that's crowd to some people. I'll just be, yes, I've arrived, I've gotten there, I'm at my destination. Whereas maybe that's not my destination. If I've not defined what success looks like, anything that just resembles just a picture of what success is supposed to be, I'll just, just settle for it. And that's why I find a lot of people just settling. They settle for a picture, they settle for a copy, a resemblance of what success looks like. Because they have not defined for themselves what success should look like. So today, I hope that by the time you're leaving here, you would have had some time to think a bit deeper, ask yourself questions. I tell you, a lot of us just go through life, and I'm not sure if that's the way we are wired, but we just go through life, right? And we just accept anything that comes and just believe that, yeah, things will just work out. Whatever will be, will be. A lot of people live their life that way. Whatever will be, No, whatever will be will not be. Because life is designed itself for you to take what you deserve from it. What you deserve in the sense that what should be yours. So I hope I'm laying that foundation. I'd also like to get some, some reactions in the chat, just to be sure that we are together. So I'm not just talking to myself. All right. Okay, so here is okay, fantastic. Here is this image, right? And what this, let me just explain what this is. So this guy here in the now, that is you now in the present moment. And in this session, we want to define who your future self should be. Because it's your future self that would help you clearly define what you should be doing today and tomorrow and the next tomorrow and the next tomorrow. Because if you don't have the picture of that future self, your journey might be anywhere belly face. Whatever looks good today, I will just, just fix myself into it. Anything that looks appealing, I will just follow. And I think it's also because we don't have something that is exciting that we're looking forward to. That is why it's easy for a number of us to just give up on our goals. That's why it's easy for us sometimes to just lose track. If you know that I want to become the president of Nigeria tomorrow, I know that today there are certain things I must not involve myself in. There are certain companies that I must not keep because I am preparing myself to become the future president. Not a lot of people are that intentional about how they create their lives and how they create their future. So if you know that this is the path I am going, this is where I am going, now the things that you do today will be very, very intentional. So who is that future self? Who is that you? What do you want people to say about you when you're no longer here? How do you want people to perceive you years to come? Now, when you have defined who that future self is, you are not going to bring that future self into the present because you cannot become what you don't behave. You can't become what you don't behave. And let me just explain that. So if I want to be, if I say I want to be a billionaire, right? I can't be thinking like a poor man and expect to attract billions. You have to bring that. So what's the characteristics of a billionaire? What do they do? How do they behave? What should I be doing? I know that someone that will become a billionaire probably should be reading a lot more books and should be, networking and should be doing a lot of certain things. Now I have to begin to behave that way in the moment for me to actualize that future self. If you don't be, right? If you don't be, you cannot have. So you be that future self in the moment, because gradually, the more you pull that future self into the present, the more your current self begins to disappear, and then you begin to become like your future self. But for a lot of us, we have not even defined that future self. And so it seems like we are forming the journey as we go. And then if the past takes us this way, we go that way. If it takes us this way, we go that way. When we get to a point, we now look back and start trying to imagine, what have I done with myself? What have I done with my time? How can I actually account for the past 40 years of my life? For a lot of people, they can't account for it because, it wasn't planned. It wasn't something that they just continue to follow the trends. They continue to follow things that looked like what they should follow. So for you to become, first, you need to choose your future self, visualize who you want to be, then you must accept that person you want to be in the present. If you don't accept that person, if you don't begin to feel the feelings that you should feel when you become that person, it's like you're preparing for an exam and you think, yeah, I want to succeed, but you have not started feeling like you have succeeded. If you don't feel that feeling, right? If you don't begin to feel excited like someone that succeeded, it might be difficult for you to actually put in the effort and the work that is required for you to actually succeed in that exam. Because it works. It works. If you feel the excitement of winning a lottery, then you will probably start, you will do the things that is required for you to win that lottery. It's like manifesting what you want to see. So you must choose yourself, choose that future self, visualize it, see it, make sure that your vision is clear, make sure that you're not seeing through the lens of any limiting beliefs, make sure that you are not holding yourself back by your past experience and your mistakes. You must dream, you dream well, you see. We asked the question, the first question was, if money and time were not a barrier, what would you be doing right now? What would you want to be? Now, that means that for you not to think of yourself as that person that you want to be, you have allowed those limiting money and time to actually prevent you from becoming that person that you wish you were. So there is where you can bring your future self to the present, and then you can begin to live out that reality by the things that you say. The things you say to yourself. Are you expecting to succeed when in the moment you're telling yourself you are not capable? If you're still speaking negatively to yourself, saying, yeah, everybody might be doing it, but you, it's not meant for you. There's no way you can become that self because you're already sabotaging that future. Your future self will not thank you because you're not doing what is required in the moment for you to become that person. I need you to reflect and just ask yourself that question. What does my future self require that I begin to do now for me to become that person? Let's even take, for example, in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, I want to tell myself, I want to be able to say that I've read 3 books and let me just say I've read 3 books. Now, in the moment, if I don't pick those books and start reading, right? If I don't begin to feel like I have finished those books, because the feeling, sometimes when you feel like a winner, it's easier for you to behave like one. It's easier for you to do what it requires for you to win than for you to be feeling like a loser and you're trying to win. Now, one thing that, you know, if you see athletes, all of these athletes, one thing they do is they must have seen themselves win 1,000 times before they get to the pitch. They have pictured it, they have seen it, they have seen how they will shout, how they will jump, how they will be excited. You see it, that feeling that propels them in the moment to push themselves further to be able to win that race. So for you to win in life, for you to win as a person, for you to win, you know, this, for you to win, right? For you to become that person that you need to become, you must bring that feeling into the present. I want to become a chief HR officer one day of a conglomerate of whatever the biggest business in the world. Now I can't be in this moment be seeing myself as someone that does not matter, because someone that does not matter cannot become a chief HR officer of a big company. I hope it's making sense. So it's not possible for you to want to become something that you cannot feel in the present. And that's the power of visioning. The vision that you see, the things that you allow yourself see, is what will push you to want to do the things that will bring those things into reality. So what we are doing here today is having conversation about who is that future self. And I want to take a moment to reflect. Who is your future self? If you have your pen and paper, just write it. Write anything that comes to mind. Write something that describes who you are. Picture yourself 80 years from now. Who are you? I'd like to know if we're doing this exercise. I can't see people. I'd have loved to see videos on, and so that I will just, it seems like I'm just alone here. I'm not seeing people. So if you can please turn on your video, it will be great to see faces. So if you can just scribble somewhere, and if you're bold enough, you can also put in the chat box. It would be great to also have some engagement there. A word that describes your future self, because the best way to predict the future is to choose it or design it. You choose the future. You design the future. You design the future by your words. You design your future by the choices that you make today. So I'm going to give us a second here to just reflect and just think a bit. Who is your future self? Because everything we're doing here is hinged on who this person is. Whatever goal you are going to be setting that will make meaning, whatever goal that you're going to set that will be sustainable, please note the word that I'm using, meaning sustainable. Whatever goals that you're going to set that will make impact is going to be determined by the picture that you can create. Who is your future self? Amazing. Sandra Williams says, HR director of a big company. I love that. You can be whoever you want to become. So you know already that if you want to be HR director, and I've asked that you can just become a big most person. HR director at one point in 10 years, in 5 years, so that you know that the next 5 years is you preparing yourself. So from now, Sandra, I need you to start behaving like the HR director. Ibafoluwa says, going on holidays because I have built a strong team of leaders that can work in my absence. See, now you need to begin to visualize which sport, which holiday spot are you going to? When you start creating your vision board, you need to put the pictures of those holiday spots so that you can see it. When you see it, you have it. It is what you see that you become. It is what you put your focus on. You see, whatever you focus on is what expands. When you focus on that future self, it magnifies. When it's magnified, your spirit receives it and begins to bring it into existence. Sandra wants to become HR director in 5 years. Fantastic. It means that from this moment, the goals you're going to set for this year must be moving you closer to becoming a HR director. Because now being a HR director is that future self that you are creating. Are we together? Can I see some reactions? Are we still together? Are we getting this? Is this making sense? Hey, Babala says, I want to be retired by 60 with successful multiple income streams. Amazing. You tell me it's not impossible. It just means that you are going to bring that future self into the present moment. For you to retire by 60, what do you need to do daily, weekly, monthly, between now and when you're 60? Create your reality. Fantastic. Imagination is more important than knowledge, says Albert Einstein. Sorry if I murdered that. Albert Einstein says imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limiting. Knowledge in itself, what you know, is what limits you. But when you allow your imaginations run wild, it creates limitless opportunities. If I like, I see myself in presidency. It's my imagination. If I like, I see myself, allow your imagination. Don't limit your imagination. Don't let your knowledge limit you. Because yes, what you know today is what is in your bank account. What you know today is, oh, I don't know, I know this person. What you know today is, so I live in so. I live in Nigeria, so maybe I don't have access to the world. Knowledge is limiting itself. But imagination is more important when you want to create that future self. So visioning is not just writing down random things. It's actually intentionally going through a process, the process of self-awareness, the process of understanding why does that future matter, and the process of, clearly defining what the success looks like. And creating that success is what your vision board will help you do. Okay, so let's move forward so that we can move to our exercise. Now, vision board is very simple. Vision board is really having, and I hope that everyone after now, maybe not something elaborate like this, but you need to create something for yourself that shows what you want to be, what you want to do, where you want to be. For this person, I just got it from somewhere, I don't know. For this person, my vision board, new car. See, the person puts a picture of what the car would look like. So every time the person sees that car, the person knows that, I want this kind of car. I want this kind of car. I want this kind of car. The person even puts a picture of the dog, body. This is their vision. You want to have, you want to shed weight, but you can't see yourself. You can't picture yourself in that new body. There is nothing exciting that will wake you up every morning to want to exercise and do what you need to do to get that body. And you might do it. Some people, you join groups and all that. Sometimes it's not sustainable because the motivation for you doing those things is very external. It's dependent on your coach. If your motivation is not internal, if you are not self-motivated to go for what you want, and you can only be self-motivated to go for what you want when you can see what you want, when you can picture what you want. And so when you create goals based on what you want, that future that you have set for yourself, when you create goals today, even when you're falling off the wagon and you're tired, When you see your vision, when you see that future self again, it motivates you to pick up. It motivates you to continue. You will know that I'm not just doing this because it's appealing or it's interesting. I am doing this because I want to become this. And you know that if you don't do this, you cannot become that. I mean, some people form luck. Some people have luck. You know, even luck sometimes is planned. Sometimes luck, people position, you know, when you're rightly positioned and you're just in the right place, some things will just fall into place and you just feel like, oh yeah, it was lucky. If you check it well, some luck is a function of right positioning. Now, not a lot of people are lucky to have the life just fall on their laps. And so that means if that's not the case, there has to be intentionality in the living way and approach to living life in the moment. These days that we are is not even the days when you say, well, anything the day brings, I will take it like that. Or I will just continue with life as it is. And then anything that happens, I will just take it like that. Life will just throw, and we all see the mass votes and everything, and things happening everywhere. For us to have a fulfilling life, for us to have, you know, a life that we would be happy with, we must chart that path for ourselves. So this is what a vision board looks like. I'm hoping we can create that for ourselves. But we already understand where this vision board comes from, because people say vision board a lot, and it's like, oh, is this some big thing? Like, what are they talking about when they say vision board? So we can't use our current circumstances to determine our future realities. No, your present should not determine your future. Your future should dictate what your present will look like, because your future would help you make choices in the moment. If you're making choices, if you're allowing your present determine your future, you're living a reactive life. If you make your future determine what your present is, you're a very proactive person, because you are going to be doing the things that you need to do for you to have that future. You are not getting to the embassy when they start telling you that you need, or it's not when you want to apply for that school in US. That's when you realize that you should have had a first class. And then you start saying, I don't have first class or second class. So, or when you start seeing that, oh, but you see, you can tell yourself now that I want to get 20 scholarships. And then you begin to think about, what does it require for me to get 20 scholarships? You bring it into the present. Let me give you an example. You will see all of this, you know, in developed countries. You will see students that want to go to Harvard. And there's a series I'm watching right now. You want to go to Harvard, there's a way you must live your life. They know what is required for them to know. See, people that go into Harvard, they don't stumble on Harvard. No. People that go to MIT and all of those Ivy League schools, they don't stumble on it. They plan their life to the minute and to the details. That students, they don't stumble on it. They know that they must join 5 clubs and that they must, you know, be the president of their club. And they must have this number of units in their this thing, and they must do this. They are bringing the future, becoming a student of Harvard, into the present, and they begin to let that dictate the things they commit their time to. So when it is time for Harvard and they send in the application, it's not a surprise. They get admitted. It is not like us that say, let me try my luck, I'll send my application, and then they will reject and say, you don't have the right qualification. No, they are not like that. They would have, from now, the way they plan their lives. I mean, I so love it, and I'm always so jealous, because they know you must have 5 credits. You must join this association. They will go and join dancing school. They will have a healthy, you know, I'm sure we all know, I mean, how these things work. But you see, for people that are going into those kind of schools, they don't stumble on it. They plan their lives to fit into that place because they already see what it's like to be there. And so they bring it into the present and they begin to live their lives every day to become that person. That's what visioning looks like. So, I mean, up until now, we might have lived our lives such a way that whatever will be, will be. I live my life that way too. I can't come and kill myself. Let's just do things that, but no. If you want your life to actually amount to anything important, you must become super intentional about the decisions and the things that you do from now. Okay, so move from this vision board. Hopefully, I think there was a question. I'm sorry, I don't think I answered that. Once we have a physical copy or virtual copy is just fine. Like one we can use just, I mean, something that works for you. For some people, physical. Let me be seeing it in front of my mirror every day. Let it remind me that this is what I said I want to become. So that the day I'm tired and I say I want to doze a bit. Let me give you an example. Like preparing for this session today, right? I knew that at the end of the session, this is what I want people to say about the session. And so when I needed, when it was supposed to be the time for me to sleep, I was not sleeping because I have pictured the future already of what the session should be at the end. And I must do what it requires for me to make that future happen. So if I came into this session haphazard, unprepared, and then I just present anyhow, and then people at the end of the day say, that was even rubbish, it was this. Well, I wouldn't expect that anybody would say the session was fine if I wasn't well prepared. So even if you're going for a board meeting, you're going for anything, picture what you want to see. One of the exercises that we're going to do today is you are going to go to the end of 2023. Now, you will tell us what you want to be said, what you want to say at the end of 2023. You will tell us now that you achieved. Like at the end of 2023, I want to say that I won 2 HR awards. That's it, picturing myself. 2023, when we're doing review, I would say I want 2 HR awards. So what does that tell me now? If I want that to be a reality, I must begin to do the things that will get me nominated, that will get me to become awarded in what I want to get awarded in. So prepare your mind, please prepare your mind. We are going to share that. We're going to break out rooms. We're going to have conversations. We're going to make this very, very practical. Please, I beg you, for you to be here, it means that you're actually ready to engage. There's no point for us listening to all of this and saying, no, I'll think about it later. That later won't come, I promise you. Okay. Okay, this was a breakout session, but we're not going to do this. Instead, what we're going to do is do a quick review of that career pathing tool. We're going to do a quick review of that career pathing tool. But I also want to ask, I think I'll just throw this question here so that I can get some engagement. Once you're like 10 people, please just share. Let me just hear us speak. Why do you think personal visions fail? Why do people have vision for their lives and at the end of the day, it doesn't happen? Why? Why do we think visions fail generally? Please, if you want to speak, just unmute yourself and speak.
Hi.
Hello.
So I think, in my own personal opinion, I think because life just takes over and then we lack motivation, we lack drive, there are competing priorities. It's not always necessarily about finance or not being able to do something. I think life just takes over and then we lack the passion and the motivation to see things through.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's one of the things that we're going to deal with today. Priorities. There are some things right now, like you feel like, oh, see, it's the person that survives now that can think about the future. I beg, let me survive now. There are those things, right? You just want to live in the moment. Those are called the whirlwind. I was reading a book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution. It calls it the whirlwind, right? Now, those things will always come at us. Life itself will come, and then we shake us, and then we feel a lot of times that dealing with that whirlwind is more important than actually setting ourselves up for the future. It's a lie and it's a distraction. So yes, life happens, beautiful, but there are systems we can create around ourselves that will help us manage the life that happens and still be able to live, you know, and still be able to get to that future self. So thank you very much for sharing. Somebody else, please, 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 please. Engagement is really important. Okay, Ulikemi says no action, absolutely. Lack of drive and motivation, not willing to put in the work, absolutely. No accountability, absolutely. That's a big one for a lot of us. Distractions, yes. Life itself, you see, living every day itself is a distraction. Lack of clarity, focus, and endurance, absolutely. That clarity is a big deal, because a lot of people, I mean, life, and if you're looking at the future right now without that clarity, everything just seems like there's so much uncertainty. I can't determine what is going to happen, and you just feel like I can't. So if you don't have clarity, it's actually hard. It's harder. Hi, Diana, please go ahead. Lack of consistency and resilience.
So for me, on my personal opinion, is actually not the reason as to why most personal visions fail, and also I've been there. It's because of not being true to yourself. You see, the moment you're true to yourself and you get to understand what are some of the things that are priority to me in this particular season, then I start cultivating with the resources that I have and the people that need to help me for me to get there. So one of the things that actually make most of the visions fail is not being true to yourself. The moment you become true to yourself, it's going to be very easy for you just to cultivate, and the way you've told us, just to visualize and see yourself getting there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, being true to yourself. You remember when I started, I said, be self-aware, know what works for you, know what you want. Because if the source of your vision is not from you, is not internally generated, they call it intrinsically motivated. If it is not, then it's easy for you to lose focus. It's easy for you to become distracted. It's so easy for you to become demotivated. Even the one that is intrinsically generated, sometimes you become demotivated when things just happen. When things don't go as planned, you just feel like, say, I can't go on anymore. I think I'm tired, I'm done. So imagine when your vision, the source of your personal vision is from somebody else, or from what somebody says, or from what somebody thinks about you. So it becomes a struggle there. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen right now, and then I'm going to share that tool. It's just for us to have a feel of it, and then I can explain a bit more about how that fits into visioning. And then we would quickly break into rooms and
still they don't hear us.
I'm sorry, was somebody saying something? Okay. All right. Then we'll quickly do this our career templates. The goal template that was shared with us, there's a part of it that we're going to fill now, based on all the things that I've discussed right now. We're going to fill one part, and then at the end of this conversation, we're going to fill the other part. Okay, so just give me a second. Let me stop sharing this. Where is, okay, fantastic. I have it here. Okay, great. So this is what, please can you confirm that I can see my screen, the career path? Please can someone confirm? I can't see. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you can see it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so like I said earlier, apologies to those that are not in HR that are here. This tool, I mean, when you look at how it's used, I'm not going to go through everything. I just want to show us how it works. And then please, I would beg everyone, especially if you're in HR, you're just starting out your career. It doesn't even matter wherever you are in your career. Just look for the role wherever you are right now and click on it and just look at what is next. Because moving with clarity, knowing what to do next will save you a lot of time on trial and error. The way a lot of us have lived our lives up until this moment is, let me try, maybe it will work. Let me try this, maybe it will work. Just imagine if you're putting this kind of effort that you're putting into your life right now, and you're putting it into something that you're certain of. If I go in this direction, I'm going to get this kind of results. I am in this role right now. If I learn this and I learn A, B, C, D, the next one I'm going to learn is this. And you begin to put your effort into that. Instead of you wasting time to start, finding out what should I do next? I don't know what to do next. And that's what a lot of us waste time on. Even in organizations, it's, I don't know what my next path is. And then you're like, oh, there's no growth opportunity here. I don't know what to do next with my life. Come on. You don't need to wait for anyone to define your growth opportunity for you and what you should do next with your career. So let's quickly take a look at this. Now, so how this works, if you click on any of this, if you click on any of this, God bless the soul of the people that created this. Is a very useful tool. Now, what the career path shows you is, it shows you where you are right now, and it shows you where you can go next. It shows you the skills that you should have to function fully where you are, and it shows you the skills you should have to function in the next level. So some of us, yes, we're on this level, but we're not even grounded where we are. But we're already saying, I want to go to the next level. And so you find people that move to the next level, that struggle in the next level because they don't have what it even takes to have it. They have not completed. It's like someone that went to do training. You have not done your freedom. You have not completed your training. You want to go and open your own shop. That kind of person will fail. So let's look at this. You can HR consultants. Now, average annual salary is this, work experience, entry level, HR role, family advisor. So we are starting as an HR consultant at the junior level. Now, the definition, key responsibilities. At least this helps you know that these are the things I should be committing my time to right now. If I'm not doing this, then I'm not doing the things that would solidify me in this level. Now, what are the skills and competencies that you should have at this level on this role? You must be good in HR advisory, policies and procedures, risk management, and the competencies, context, interpretation, customer focus, HR mastery. So you already know that by the time you take this and you start, you pen it down, these are the skills I should have, these are the competencies, your focus is sharper. You begin to look at, okay, where do I learn HR advisory? If you have a boss, you can start asking questions. How do I start learning how to develop policies and procedures? What is risk management? You can start asking yourself questions. And then they go ahead to, because AIHR is a training body, they have listed what relevant trainings you should take with them. Now you can take other trainings out there, but with them, they have told you that for you on this level, you should start taking strategic HR leadership certificate program, for analysis, you should start taking all these programs. So if you want to give yourself, like now, if you're trying to define what your career goals for this year is, and this is your level, you already know that for me to, be able to qualify for the next level, I should take this training. Which of these trainings am I going to take? Then potential roles to develop into. Now, this is where the map is. So you can either grow into becoming HR manager, HR operations manager, or OD specialist. Now, if you click on that, it takes you again to the requirement for that level. So if we have all done this exercise and you are seeing where you are, the conversation for us right now is to start asking ourselves, what are the skills and competencies you should be learning for the next level? the conversation we should be having. Now, this also helps you create a vision, right? Because you already know that from here, I want to become an HR manager. It is clear. This also gives you an identity for who the HR manager should be. What should they know? What should they have? What kind of training should they have taken? What kind of role does that role develop into? Now, when you see this, it just helps and makes life easy. So you know that when you're at work and you know you're not committing your time to half of the things that will help you develop yourself, you know you're wasting your time. Because see, honestly, sometimes I think the things we commit, you know, it becomes a reality when you need to do for another job. You now realize that, my 5 years, and I'm struggling to find one achievement. How is that possible? Because when you started, if you had this kind of clarity on these are the things I need to know, these are the things I need to do for me to move to the next level, I need to have taken this training. As an HR manager, these are the things I need to know. You might you can start preparing yourself, but you already know that this is where I'm moving to. And so anything that does not look like it, you don't pay attention to it. Anything that will take you away from it, you ignore because you have a focus. And I like how the tool was created, right? It also shows which are the hot jobs. So if you know that I have the ability to become a people analytics head, go and start looking at what does it require to become a people analytics head, because that's a hot job right now. It doesn't mean all the other ones are not relevant, but it means that if you want to become hot cake in the industry, you must begin to look at those ones they have identified as hot jobs, because they probably have done some research for them to know that these roles are hot in the market. People are recruiting for it. So you need to position yourself. If you want to become that talent, you know, that hot talent that people say, all this talent is a talent market, is an employee market. Excuse me, it's not every employee. It's not the employee that does not have the in-demand skills. It's not the kind of employee that they can replace in 2 seconds. For you to be that employee that is dictating whether you want to work remotely or not, you know that employee that companies are saying, "Abeg, just come, we need you, we need your skills." Then you must begin to position yourself this way. So you look at HR business partner path. Let's look at potential roles to develop into, say, senior HR business partner, global HR business partner, head of HR. So depending on what you want, and then also you can now take a step further, the kind of companies that you want to go into. What do they call those people in that company? Is this senior HR business partner? Is it head of HR? Is it global? I mean, whichever one that is appealing to you, you just click on it, and then you look at what are the skills and competency profile, what are these relevant trainings, then you begin to map out your career future. So this is a great visioning, a career visioning tool for you to see where you're going to, and for you to bring that future into the present and begin to do what is required to get you qualified for that future. Fantastic. Are we together? Does this make sense? And yes, the career path was sent to everybody's mail, but we can send it again. We can send, let me just share the link in the chat right now, and then you can just click on it, please. Let's click on it. Let's explore this. It's a very fantastic tool. I'm sure that this is where a lot of companies are trying to get to, where they can have this kind of path clearly mapped out. All the roles in the organization, when you just come in, you know, okay, if I'm in this role, this is where I'm moving to next, and this is where I can move into, and it just helps everybody, you know, have that clarity. Okay, so that's that about that. Is there anybody that would like us to check their path? Does anybody want me to check what the path is quickly? And then we can move from here. I wish everybody had gone through this so that we can just discuss what are the insights you got from this. What do you have now? What don't you have? What is it that we should be doing that you're not doing? What have you realized? What's the aha moment for you when you went through this? I think, Madam Kemi, can you share when you went through this? What was the aha moment for you? I know you went through it. I think Messi also went through it. You can also share.
Hi. Okay, so I'm actually looking at my assessment results now. So it gave me 53%. So that translates to you have opportunities to develop. There are still some core HR competencies you can develop in order to grow your career and future-proof your skill sets. So from my profile, I had the advisor, strategist, service champion, and solution architect. Then it scored me on data literacy. It scored me 64%. On people advocacy, it scored me 68%. On digital dexterity, it scored me 62%. And on business acumen, it gave me 58%. It now also gave me a benchmark that my score was higher than 41% of other HR professionals on this competency level. Then it gave me some HR training that I can look into. Coincidentally, before you even set this up, I'm familiar with AI HR platform because I'm currently doing their strategic business certification there. And that was one of the courses that I highlighted for me to do. So I was happy that I had future focus and already started doing that. So I know I'm on track. Then it ranked me at the 34% percentile. So meaning that out of every 1,000 HR professionals, 340 people will score lower than me if they take this. But this is based on their own personal assessment. So I hope everybody knows that it's not like an industry. Yeah. So it says that, so I can go on and on and on, but yeah, I mean, that's the general gist of it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, we all see how useful the tool is. It tells you how you rank against other people that take this assessment also. So I would ask that please, for the sake of what we are doing today, just go through this tool and have that assessment for yourself, so I can arm yourself with something useful to go into this year. And you're not just going to take random certifications and just taking random, exams here and there. And at the end of the day, when you're applying for a job, they tell you, oh no, we don't need that. This is what we actually need. It just helps position you better. Okay, fantastic. So we will move on from here. Thank you so much for sharing. Elfreda, do we have the breakout rooms ready? Are we going to breakout rooms right now to quickly just... Or maybe in just 15 minutes. The template that was shared with us, that's, I'll just share my screen again. Just give me a second. Okay. So that template that was shared with us, I want us to feel a part of it right now. I'm sharing my screen so everybody can see. This template was shared with us in our emails. I'll share the link again in the chat box. But the part we are feeling right now is this left side. The left side that says, who are you? I'd also share, if you're not in HR, it doesn't matter. You can duplicate this and create something for yourself. It doesn't have to be that you're in HR. It's very relevant to anyone. So who are you? I mean, your name. You can put a brief description of yourself. Remember that we have talked about self-awareness. So if you put there, who are you? How do you define yourself? Who is Mercy? Who is Kemi? Who is Rafina? Who is Ame Peter? Sorry, these are the names I'm seeing on the screen. Right? Now, what's your education? What have you done? Your education. And then, what are you doing right now? What's your personal preference? What are your values? So personal preference will most likely be like your personal principles. What are those things that you hold dear? What are your values? And then what do you think are your limitations? Listing your limitations here makes you aware of them, and it makes you, it positions you better to be able to deal with those limitations. So you also need to put that there. And then that's the part we're going to create feel for now. At the end of this session, in a few minutes, we're going to feel this, everything here in this session before we leave. There is no, I will feel it later. Please be true to your, please, I beg you. I'm not going to ask anyone to start sharing yet, but I would ask a few people to present their own, just to share with us. Again, if you share, it doesn't take anything, it doesn't mean everybody's, it's just a way of also affirming and also helping you to internalize all of these things that we're talking about. So please, everybody has to go through this. Let's fill that part. In 10 minutes, we will start again. So I'm going to share the link again. Yes, I am. I've shared the link. So please duplicate this because you won't be able to edit directly. Duplicate this. To duplicate, you have to go to File, make a copy. So you make a copy for yourself, and yeah, make a copy, and then just create a copy for yourself and fill that part. Fill it, be very, very honest. Is it yours? Because you're going to use it after today. We have accountability groups that we have created for everyone, for the people that have indicated interest in WiHR. We are strongly going to work with this that we're creating today. So think about it and feel accurately. So I'll see us back in 10 minutes. The number of goals that you should be setting per time. All right, fantastic. So I hope I want to believe that everybody can hear me, even though I'm not getting as much engagement and response as I had hoped. But I just want to believe in my heart that everybody is hearing me and everybody is following. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for staying till this time. Thank you for staying till the end also. It's definitely going to be worth your time. Okay, so goal setting and goal getting. So goal setting is one, goal getting is another. Some people stop at the level of setting goals. And when it's time to get the goals, they get weary and they just follow the wagon and that's it. Some people even, they start the journey of the goal getting, but they don't get to the end. So it's very few people, very few committed people that actually see their goals to the end. So how do you actually set the right goals? And how do you see your goals to the end? There are times that you will definitely fall off, but how do you get back up and keep going? So goal setting is a process, you put together, I want to save 2 million in 2023. I want to complete PHRI course, or I want to get my PHRI certification. I want to do this. Those are your goals. But how do you determine, how do you get those goals? Now, we just talked about vision. We talked about how it is important for us to picture where we're going to before, it's better we picture where we're going to so that we can bring that picture into the present, and that can inform the things that we commit our times to. And that's where this statement comes from. Your goals must be moving you closer to your life vision. If your goal is not meaningfully contributing to you getting to that life vision, you are setting the wrong goals. How do you even know that you're setting the wrong goals if you have not set a life vision? So you understand how the process goes now. You set a life vision, and then you now set the goals that will move you closer to that life vision. Goals are their best to unlock a super you. How do you also know that you're setting the right kind of goals? If your goal that you're setting is not elevating you, if it is not stretching, if it's not, moving you from your comfort zone to a new zone, if it's not making you better, you're not setting the right goals. You can't set goals that just, are just comfortable for you and are just so easy, and then you don't have to stretch any more than you already do. And then you say, yes, my capacity is to read 2 books, 2 pages per day, and I'm just going to set a goal to read two books per day. You are not improving. You are not, it's not unlocking any super you. That, you know what it means to unlock a super you? The future you that you're looking at, right, is a superior you. It's a more advanced you. It's a you that has gone through processes. It's a you that has gone through the trials and tribulations of this world and has succeeded and has overcome, and is at that other end. Is waiting for your present self to come and meet it. That super you, right? For you to get to that super you, for you to get to that superior you, you must be setting goals that actually stretch you beyond your current capacity. You can't be setting goals that just keep you the same every day, every month, every hour, every year. It's not possible. You can't look at you today and it is the same you that ends 2023 and you tell me that you set goals and you achieve them. No. The goals that you set must move you from a point X, which is the point where you are, to a point Y, which is the point where you'll be at the end of 2023. So the best goals that you set must continue to unlock a superior you, a you that, is better than the current you. Fantastic. Sorry. Okay, so what are the areas that you need to consider when you're setting your goals? It doesn't mean that you're going to set your goals in all of these areas, but you just need to check, right? Check all these different areas of your life, your career. How are you doing in your career? Is your career okay? Are you doing well? How are you doing socially? How are you doing financially? How are you doing physically? How are you doing spiritually? Because all of these areas, if you're not balanced, if you're not healthy, if there's one area that is sick, it will affect every other area. So you need to keep checking. You need to keep checking all of these areas. How are you doing in those areas? So when you look at your career, because you see, the sum of all of this is what you make your future self a reality. If you don't have the financial capacity to do what you need to do today for you to become the future self, that future self that you have created is just going to be a dream forever. If you don't have the right network, if you don't have the right kind of support that will help you get to where you need to get to, that future self continues to be a mirage. If you're not physically healthy, if you're not physically sound, if your health is failing, it's impossible for you to say you want to pursue any career goal. Then there's also the spiritual part of things. I mean, every one of us, we have, there's that stability you get from knowing that you have a relationship with God, whoever God is to you. You have a relationship with someone that's superior to you. Now, there's a stability that it gives you that you cannot get if you're just living your life without that kind of connection. People find this connection in different ways. You would see people continue to find that connection. It might not be expressed in the way that you know it, but people are constantly finding that connection with something superior. So when you have a balance in all of this here, now think about your career. You have a solid network, you have this, but you're failing in your career. It's going to affect every other area. So you need to determine part time, what am I focusing on this year? If I say this year, I want to really focus on my finances, and I want to become healthier. So I'm going to focus on my finances and my physical health. Maybe for this Q1, I'm going to say, okay, I want to focus on my physical health. I want to become more healthy, or I want to attain this. I create that as my goal for the period. And then if I say, oh, I'm not doing so great socially, I want to do something, I want to improve in my social life, and then I create something in that area, and I make that my focus for the period, and I religiously follow through. But you see, you cannot actually, it's going to be futile. You won't be able to successfully carry everything out if you say you want to create a goal in each of these areas. You have to, just know, okay, this, and the way you know the critical goals that will get you to where you need to get to is you ask yourself, my next slide. This is what I want to show. So when you reflect, you ask yourself, what battles must you fight today to win the war of tomorrow? The battles you must fight today are those goals that you must set today that will get you to win the war of tomorrow. The war of tomorrow, let's bring it home. Let's talk about career. What are the things that the habits you must create? What are the skills you must develop? Those are the battles for you to win the war of getting into the position that you need to get to tomorrow. Because it's not the time that you are going for war that you start fighting your battles. No, you have fought your battles. You are fighting your battles so that you can win the war. You don't start fighting battles when the war is here. You start conquering those little cities. You start conquering those little things. You conquer those habits. You conquer those things that will set you up to win the war of tomorrow. So when you're setting your goals, you must be clear. What are the things I must do today? You must be very, very specific to the details. Now, let's go to principles of goal setting. There are things, principles are principles. If you break principles, you will not get the result you're supposed to get. Now, think about this. What are the principles of goal setting? When you're setting your goal, there must be clarity. Someone mentioned earlier, I'm sorry, I think it was Diana, I can't remember who did, that there's something that has to do with clarity when you are setting your personal vision. If you don't have clarity, you set the wrong vision. Now, when you're setting goals also, if you don't have clarity on where you're going, the reason we started with visioning, because clarity is important. You can't set a goal with a blurry eye. You can't set a goal based on the guess. Like I feel you need clarity for you to set the right kind of goals, because your goals are the actual things. When you set your goals, you know that this is what I must achieve. Now, if you don't set that goal with a clear mind, you are already setting yourself up for failure. Now, your goals should challenge you. I just said that if your goal doesn't stretch you, if it doesn't unlock a new you, then you're not setting a goal. You're probably just playing around. You need to be committed to your goals. That is how goal setting works. It's the commitment that makes it worth it. And then when you set goals, don't set goals in isolation without reaching out for feedback, without asking for feedback. That's why we are having our accountability groups, so that you set your goals, Write the vision, make it plain so that he that sees it can run with it. When you are written, these are my goals. And then you now say, okay, my accountability partners, these are the things I've said I want to achieve. You now begin to like the feedback is, am I making progress? Am I not? Now, managing complexity is a lot of things would happen at the same time. Like we said, life happens. It makes things so complex. But you must be able to manage that complexity for you to still stay committed to your goals. Setting goals, and that's why, you know, I said earlier that set 2-3 goals per time. 1, 2, 3 goals. And the reason is to make it as realistic as possible for you to be able to achieve. Be true to yourself. You can't set 7 goals, 10 goals, 20 goals, and you still, you know, you are still chasing daily bread, and you are still trying to be, if you're a mother, you're still being a mother to your kids, and you're a wife to your husband, and you're a daughter to your parents, and you're friends to your friend, and then you have 20 goals you are pursuing personally. It's impossible. It can't work. So being strategic about these things, being very, very intentional about these things, knowing that, okay, in this period, I want to chase this. I want to chase these 2 things. If you want to break it down by quarter, say this quarter, these are the 2 things that I'm focusing on. I missed all the other things that are happening in my life. These 2 things I must focus on. And then when you hit those 2 things, there's a way that success makes people feel. It just, just makes you feel like, yes, I've arrived. And makes you feel like, yes, I got it. And then, that motivation that you hit the goal this time around will push you to want to hit other goals. But if you continue to set goals and you're not able to manage them, you continue to get yourself demotivated, and then you will not even want to go to say, all those fatigue and I can't do this anymore. A lot of people are at that point where say, I can't set New Year resolutions. See all the ones that people are talking about, please don't put me under pressure. I don't want to do it. Probably because they tried it and they did it the wrong way, and now they don't just have the motivation to try it again because they feel like, we set your own goals. By the time is out here, we won't continue again. So what's the point of setting the goals? I mean, let's just continue living the years. As the year comes, as every day comes, we'll live the year as every day comes. That's not the right attitude to life. But there's a reason why people are like that. It's because, when everything about life comes and when they've set 20 million goals, and then it's time for them to start, and you're chasing this goal, you're chasing that goal, you're chasing 1 million goals. You can't focus. We are not wired that way to do multiple things at a time. The brain is wired to focus. When you focus, you will see the sun the way the sun is, right? When the sun is shining and it's just shining, you can't feel the intensity. But if you focus the sun using, I can't remember whatever it's, maybe aluminum plate or whatever, if you focus the energy of the sun on an object, that object can catch fire because you are focusing the energy of the sun. So even the sun, as mighty and as powerful as it is, when the focus is diverted, it is not as effective. So talk more of we human beings. When your focus is all over the place, you can't be as effective as you should be when your focus is on just a few things at a time. So that's one of the secrets of succeeding when you set goals. There are different things, there's that shiny object syndrome where this thing just comes, oh my God, I need to chase this. Oh my God, I need to chase this. And then it just looks like everything looks appealing. I need to do this. Yes, I want to become a reader. I'm going to read 20 books. I want to socialize. I'm going to go for events. And then you're not realistic with yourself to know your capacity. And then you now set goals and you're intentionally setting yourself up for failure. So managing complexity, all of these things, you must take into consideration when you're setting your goals. Okay. Next is going to be, now I've talked about this, reflecting yourself. When you're also setting your goals, you need to think and take a minute to think. The war, it's more important, right? But you see, if you don't conquer the battles, you can't win the war. If you don't create the right habits, you can't win in the field of life. You will see a lot of people that get to the peak of life, and then because they have not won the battle internally, they have not won the battle in the secret, they fail when they get there, because it's that what they have refused to kill in the secret to kill them in the open. So the battles that you must fight, the things that you must do for you to be positioned to win out there, you must determine those things. That's how you set successful goals. We're getting to the end of this shortly. Now, winning in goal setting, these steps, I hope if you're taking notes, you should really take note of these 4 key things. This is how big organizations, this is how the most successful people, this is how they win. Identifying your most important goal. You have a lot of goals, right? The way you can help yourself, everything that comes to mind when you want to start writing your goals, write them down. You want to buy a car, write it down. You want to build a house, write it down. Write everything, all the things that you feel like I want to achieve, just write everything down. But you now need to ask yourself, what is that 1 or 2 things that I will do now that will move me closer? What are the 2 most important things that I need to do in this moment? Everything looks important. Everything looks like, yes, you should, but it might not be relevant in this moment and in this time. Example, I want to become a CHR. I'm just using myself as an example. And then I haven't determined what my most important goals are, which is, winning where I am, being successful, preparing myself for the next level, because there are levels for me to get there. Now, I don't determine that, and then I now jump and say, I want to go and start applying. That's not an important goal for me right now. Important goals for me right now is, what are the things that I need to do? What are the things I need to do right now that will get me, a step closer and a step closer? What is the thing that I need to do that will make the most impact? You are looking for the most impact. Not the things. So, some people set goals around their daily activity. There are some things that will move the needle just a little. There are some things that are high effort but no reward. Right? There are some things that you will put so much but won't move the needle a lot. You just move it a little. You need to ask yourself, what will I do that will move the needle significantly? That will make significant impact? That will help me move closer to where I'm going to. Those are your most important goals. So you need to identify them. It's not all goals that are important in the moment, but you need to read them down, cut them down, cut them down, cut them down. You need to cut your 20 goals down to 2 major ones, 2 important ones that will move you from where you are right now. I will move. If you want to apply for an HR manager role, what is important for you to do now? Is it to go and take a certification exam? Or is it for you to go and do? You just need to be very strategic about it. You need to think deeply. This is not something that you just do on the surface. It's something that requires thinking. And I think that thinking process is where a lot of us, we don't pay a lot of attention to. And it's that thinking process that yields more. The process of sitting and actually, deliberating on these things yourself and asking very important questions. What are those 2 out of these 20 things? What are the 2 critical things that I must focus my energy on now? That by the time it's end of Q1, I can see a significant improvement in my life between then and now. Because you can actually be doing things, you can be involved in activities, and by the time it's Q1, and you look at yourself in Q2, now and end of Q1, you say, yeah, I made progress, but just a little progress. You don't want to commit you don't want to. Time is too precious. Then focus on actions, not results. Now I want to lose weight. And then I've said that 20 kilograms is what I want to lose. Every day I wake up, I want to lose 20 kilograms. I want to lose 20 kilograms. I will get weary faster focusing on 20 kilograms than focusing on My goal is to take 10,000 steps daily. That's the action. Now, whatever the outcome is, I am not focusing on it, because if I am religiously following through on my actions, I will get my results. A lot of us make the mistake of focusing on what the result is. But when you focus on the result, you lose track of the things that you're supposed to do. Just religiously follow on the action. You are certain that if you take 10,000 steps daily, don't fail. Just tell yourself, that's all I need to do in a day. I want to finish a book. I am not concerned about the rest of the pages. I just know that daily I must finish 5 pages. That's all. I finish my 5 pages and I do it religiously. Because I have looked at the number of pages that will require me to finish, and I said I want to finish this book in 20 days. And I have looked at, if I do 5 pages per day in 20 days, I'll finish it. I am not thinking about the remaining, all the 300 pages or whatever. I'm only concerned about the 5 pages I need to complete daily. That is all. Once you're done with 5 pages, you close your book and then you move on for the rest of the day. The next day you come back, finish your 5 pages and you move on. If you continue like that religiously for 20 days, you will not know that you have even completed the book, because you are only focusing on the things you need to do every day. You need to take 10,000 steps. Just focus on that. You want to lose 20 kg here, because the more you focus on that, the more your spirit becomes weary. You get tired. You get easily discouraged. You get easily demotivated. So focusing on actions and not results. And then again, there's what we call lag and lead factors, right? Now, the lag factors, if we are familiar with finance and all that, we talk about lag and lead factors. Lag factors are those factors that have happened. You can't change it once it has happened. Revenue is a lag factor. It's something that by the time you're seeing your revenue, all the actions, by the time you're seeing your revenue at the end of the year, all the actions has happened. You can't change the past anymore because it's a lag factor. But the lead factors, focus on lead factors to say, we are going to sell 20 products every day. That's what we are at this rate. That's what we're focused on, right? You already know what you are chasing. It's 20,000, fine. But you know that every day, we're not focusing on, we want to get 20,000. We are focusing on, let's sell 5 products every day. See, by the end of the year, because it's those 5 products that you sell every day that you can control. It is not, you can't control the outcome, you can control your action. But your action is what is going to lead you to your outcome. So don't fret about outcome or your results. If you're trying to lose weight, don't be obsessed about you're checking your weight every day. No, because if you religiously follow through on the things you're supposed to do, you will get your results. The lead factors are those things that you need to commit your time and your effort to. That's why the second step says, focus on actions and not results. Focus on actions and not results. What do you need to do on a daily basis? What habits do you need to change? What do you need to learn? What do you need to improve on? If you know what you need to improve on, don't worry about the results, because the result will not lie. If you do the things you're supposed to do in the moment, you're going to get the result you need to get. That's the way life works. And that's, principles. If you put this effort, you will get this result. Sometimes it's just like that. Sometimes things happen, not say that things don't happen. But what you can control in the moment is your own action. Then we have identified your goals. You are focusing on your action. You know the goal is where you are going, right? Now, once you have identified that goal, you will put it aside. Because when you have identified that goal, you need to now define the things you must do to get to that goal. The moment you define the things you need to do to get to that goal, the things you need to do is what becomes your focus every day. Those are the only things you put in front of you. I must read 2 pages per day. Now, you're not bothered about the 250 remaining pages that you have not read. because in that moment, that's not your concern. Your concern is read your 2 pages and move on. Religiously, just read your 2 pages and go. Just read your 2 pages. If you're supposed to go to the gym and they say, do 10 press-ups, do 20 press-ups, do this, just go and religiously do your 10 press-ups, do this. You will not even know when you start seeing the results. Because results don't lie. Results are things, they're always a function of the actions that you take. So as you set your goals today, think about it. You don't leave your goal setting at the point of your set. You have sorry about distraction. You have once you focus on the action, you are definitely setting yourself up for success, right? You look at, I want to become a chartered HR professional. That's your goal. The moment you have written that goal, so what do I need to do? It's just like we defined our future self, right? Now you define your future self. You know, you can sit down and start obsessing about that future self, and you start getting worried. I say I want to become a billionaire. Hey, there has never been a billionaire in my family. How am I going to be a billionaire? It's not possible. It's not possible. Leave it. You want to be a billionaire? Fine. You have now asked yourself, what do you need to do on a daily basis for you to get there? Once you define that, you need to improve your saving habits. You need to become more financially proficient. You need to invest. You need to see, when you are doing this is religiously, it will do like magic. When you become a billionaire, I'm actually a billionaire. I can't believe this. Because you're not focusing on becoming a billionaire. You're focusing on doing the things you're supposed to do daily. That will make you become a billionaire. So then track your progress. There's something about progress that just motivates us. You also need to be able to know, out of 10 things that I was supposed to do, I have done 8, right? Now, the 8 is for you a win. You must, and that's why when they tell you that when you're setting your goals, you know, the whole SMART acronym, it must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be, sorry, even me, I don't used to remember all this. It must be, please, somebody should help me. It must be result and all that time. So it's measurable part I'm very concerned about. See that measurable part, right? It is for you to be able to know how far you have come. Because if you just set a big goal, I'm trying to think about a very big goal that does not have head or tail. When I'm moving closer, I won't know. When I'm whatever, I'll just be living, I'll just be doing things anyhow. And a lot of people actually set their goals that way. But ask some of us now, show me how you have set your goals. You just see some vague this thing. I want to succeed. I want to succeed. That's a very big goal. Because what's your measure of success? How are you determining that you have succeeded? How do you determine that you are, you know, when I started, you remember, I said that you must define what success looks like. Because when you're close to success and you don't know it, there's no way for you to tell if your efforts are actually yielding the result, if you're actually doing the right thing. You won't be able to tell. So that's the new definition of any benefits. But if you can actually track, you can track because you have made them measurable. You have made them very specific. So you are seeing how far you're going. When you have in this track your progress sheet, one of the things that we're going to do when we're running our accountability group is, you see, you're going to have a scoreboard. The scoreboard is where you write, I'm supposed to read 2 books per day, 2 pages per day. You now say completed, outstanding. So on a daily basis, you'll be ticking the one you have completed. You'll be ticking the one you have completed. You will know the one you missed. Being diligent, Anybody can set goals. Anybody can, but you see, what differentiates the people that succeed at the end of the day, what differentiates them is the people that are committed to the process. It's not magic that you get from point A to point B. It is not by magic that people that get into Ivy League schools are getting into Ivy League schools. It is not because somebody likes their face. It is because they have actually been intentional about their journey and the process. So if you are not diligent, if you are not committed, and this is being committed to yourself. Again, this is being committed to your future self, because your future self will look at you and say, Temi, you're not doing what I mean, like, you know, there's this saying that if you look at what you're doing today, will your future self thank you for it? For you to know if this webinar is useful to you, ask yourself, will your future self thank you for attending this webinar? Anything you're doing, please make that your litmus test. Will your future self thank you for doing this? Because the only way your future self will thank you for doing it is because it moves you closer to it. It moves you closer to becoming it. So tracking your progress it requires diligence, and that's why the goals you're setting is not 20. So it doesn't become another hard work. You're not setting 20 goals. 2, with all the actionable steps. Your actionable steps should not more than 2, 3. Just know the things you need to do for you to get to this goal. And then you must religiously track it. I bet you, if you start today, you religiously track the things you need to do. By the time you look at yourself in 3 months' time, you won't believe the amount of progress you would have made. Because if you just make it a day, today, okay, I've not done this, I'm supposed to have done this. And see, there is the tendency for you to allow busyness. You say, oh, I'm busy with work, I'm busy with this. There are 1,001 excuses for you not to be committed to your future self. But the day will come, the day of reckoning will come, where you will wish you had actually paid a little more attention to your future self. Because when you should become that future self, you will realize that you're not equipped enough to become that future self. And so you cannot have what that future self has in stock for you. It's not magic. It's not, and it's not, you see, there are just some things. It's not by, I like your face, and it's not by, you are better than this person. If you do what you should do, all things being equal, you will get what you should have. So tracking your progress is super, super important. It's super, super key, a super key part of this process. If you want to win in 2023, in this thing we call goal setting, you want to project into 2023 December, and you want to say in 2023 December that I set these goals and I achieved them, then you must bring that into the present, and you must begin to do the things that will enable you to say that in December. I mean, you might not want to even look that far. Set a goal for Q1, March, and say in March, oh, I want to be able to come and tell Temi that, I set 2 goals and I achieved it. Feel the feeling, feel the excitement now, know how it feels, enjoy the feeling, absorb it, because it is that feeling that will propel you to wake up every morning and say, I know you're tired, but if you want to be able to tell Temi in March that I achieved this goal, then you must stand up now and read the book that you need to read. Because if you don't do it now, then you won't be able to say, you won't be able to celebrate that victory. The last thing here is staying accountable. The journey of, journey of success, journey of everything is not something that you go alone. That's why I'm employing everyone that has been assigned to a group, all the group leads. Please make sure that, this time around, we are taking it very, very serious. A critical part of the things that we must make sure is successful in this quarter. Stay accountable. Life will never get less busy. I promise you. The higher you go in life, the more busy you become, and the more busy you become, the more responsibility is on you. And you know, because responsibility on you does not mean that your future self is not demanding from you that you do the things that it requires for it to become a reality. So no matter what it is, you have to be committed to yourself. The way you are committed to that job, the way you are committed to other things, you need to please do yourself a favor and be committed to your own goals. We are finishing in a moment. So stay accountable. You have to be accountable, and you have to also, when you help others, you help yourself. If I'm holding somebody accountable, me, I also know that I cannot fail in my goals, because if I'm going to come and ask Mercy and say, Mercy, how far? Have you done what I'm supposed to do? Mercy to look at me. Have you done yours? I can't come and be asking Mercy if she has done her own if I've not done my own. So the way you have hold others accountable, you are also holding yourself accountable. So it's very, very important to achieve. I think setting, I said that earlier. You will get, there's a very high chance that you get halfway and things just, you just get tired. That's why to combat that fatigue, set few goals at a time. Don't set 100 goals at a time. You get tired. Now review your goals on a periodic basis. You must sit down after a while. You don't leave your goals to the end of the year and say, until then, before I review my goals. You must have a quarterly review. Sit down, look at what is working, what is not working. Is this goal still very relevant? Yes, it's relevant. How am I doing on these goals? How am I doing on this? And then the more you review, right? The more you review, the more you are able to see your progress. Now you must review. You must continue to be accountable. Don't get tired. Don't say, that one is too much. I mean, it's for your good. You must be accountable. What is the accountability that will help you when you are falling off? When you know that you have to report yourself on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, you will sit up and say, let me continue. And this also is a reflection of your personal values. Now, when you're accountable to people, then you want people to be able to count on you. You want people to be able to hold you to your words. So that means that if you say, I'm going to do this, then you must hold yourself accountable first to the things you've said you want to do. And then you must also be able to build that trust in people for them to say, if Mercy says she's going to do this, she's going to do it. So stay accountable and celebrate your wins. The two books that the book that you say you want to read, once you finish reading it, celebrate yourself. Don't sweep it under the carpet and say, hey, just one book I've read. Celebrate your win. There's a way it conditions your brain to get used to winning. Your brain wants to win the next time because every win is celebrated. So you must celebrate your wins. That way, when you fall off, you want to get back up because you know that when you finish it, there's that excitement that comes with winning. There's that excitement that comes with doing the things that you have set out to do. I think we're fantastic. We're at the end of this. And then we would just run through. I'm not sure. Let's go into our breakout rooms and then let's just have a conversation. Just have a conversation about what you have picked today, and then use that time also to fill the other parts of your career templates. This is we're going to finish in the breakout room is going to be 15 minutes, and then say in 10 minutes after we come back, we're going to close the class because I know we have been here for long. So I'm going to put everyone in a breakout room now, and we just go there, have a conversation about what are your limiting beliefs. What are those things that have kept you from achieving your goal? What are you going to do differently this year? Just have a conversation about, okay, so from this moment, these are the things I'm going to begin to do. Then complete the other part of that, this one. So what we're completing now is my goals in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. You're going to look at your current competencies, skills, knowledge, and experience. If you have done that career mapping tool, you'll be able to get this easily. What are the developmental skills that you need for your current job? What are the developmental skills you need for your future job? And then what's your action plan? This is the most important part of it all. What is your action plan? So please, let's go into our breakout room. We are reducing the number. We're almost 60 before we're 28 now. Thank you to the 28 people that are still here. We're finishing at right now. But it's just very important that, you know, even if you can't feel everything right now, just think about it and pen something down so that after now, you can take the time to think a bit more about it, and then you can reflect and feel this completely, because this is what you're going to start using in your accountability groups. So I'm going to just quickly admit us. Maybe that room is going to just be for 10 minutes, just for us to interact and then engage each other and you know, meet people. So in just 1 second. All right, fantastic. So I'm opening the room now. I think there are some rooms that are just 2 people. Let me sorry. Change this. Going to be 10 minutes. And then let's see. Okay, maybe take 5 rooms so that we can be more in each one. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so I'm looking the rooms now. Please join your breakout rooms and then have a conversation. See you all when you come back. So I'll be happy to respond now if anyone has any question. Yeah. How are we finding the templates? Are we able to fill it? Has anybody completed theirs? Would be great to get some feedback.
Can everyone hear me? So for me, the template is simple, quite explanatory, but I'm almost done, but not done. There's just this feel like, okay, what if I'm able to do more and all? But from this session, I've been able to understand that is more about the present, even when I have envisioned the future ahead. So the main thing is to start doing something about it while I still have the big picture ahead of me. So the template is quite simple because I've worked with more complicated templates. This I can work on it on my own without anyone telling me you have to do this and all. The template is fantastic. And I like the fact that it also has declaration. So it's more like confessing, just like you said, you need to speak it into existence. And also the template is amazing. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that feedback. Helen, haven't heard your voice. Amumi, Adewumi, Chidima. I'm just going to call names. Oluwafumike, Stephanie. Okay, Kemi just joined. Mary, Sandra, William, Keru, Damilola, Nicholas, Jumoke, Adigun, Adeola, Sanwo, Megadi, Yemi, Yetunde Adedipe. Can we hear your voices? One day also. Nicole Smart. Can we hear your voices briefly?
Hi, Temi. Sorry, I kind of joined late, but the little I heard, towards the end was really, really helpful. And also the template, so I would also try to fill it out. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for putting this webinar together. It was very, very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Thank you for joining also. We appreciate your presence.
Hello, Femi. Hello.
Hi, Sandra. Good to hear your voice.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to talk about the template. I've not filled it yet. I'm using my phone for this meeting, but I liked the fact that it touched different areas, personal preferences, values, limitations, and different areas. So it actually makes you, it's food for thought, makes you think, and it makes you search deep inside you to find some of these answers and feel it out. And I also like the fact that the goals were in 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months. 9 months and the 12 months, so quarterly. So they are achievable, and like you said earlier, you said we should not we should do like maybe 3 goals at a time so that we can work at it. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. One more person, and then we can just round off for today. I just really hope, I know it's been a good session. Someone in the chat, please, will the recording be available? I just joined. Yes, it should be available. It should be shared as soon as possible. One more feedback, although there's still a conversation. So I mean, in summary, we have learned how to vision and to envision and to see. Remember that there are things that blur your vision. You need to put all of that aside so that you're not creating the wrong vision, because if you don't remove all of those blockers, you'll be creating the wrong vision. So you need to let go of your past, forget your mistakes. Like, you've made mistakes, you made mistakes, you've learned from it. You also need to allow yourself move beyond your environment, and be very aware of all those limiting beliefs. There are limiting beliefs. There are some things that keeps when you want to reach for the big things. There's something that holding you back, that keeps telling you can't. It's not you. It's not your type they're looking for there. There are just some of those beliefs that we need to get rid of for us to actually get to where we need to get to. Then there's self-awareness. Do that exercise. Know yourself. Go and do all the research you need to do about yourself. And the principle of be, do, have. You have to be that person. Do what you need to do before you have that thing. So if you want to have your future self, you have to be that future self in the present, and you have to do the things that will take you to become that future self in reality. Then goals, when they are properly set, it unlocks a super you. And then goals should be clear, concise, and time-bound. Reflection. I would really wish that a few people can also share. This is where we end the session, and that is it for today. Looking back at 2023, let's practice what we've learned. Ask yourself, what would have made you proud? What would have happened in 2023 that would have made you proud? Think about, you're gisting with your friend now, December 31st, or December 1st, or December whatever. You're gisting with your friend like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. I was able to achieve A, B, C, D. And you project into the future and tell us what you see. Use 1, 2, 3 people. It's really good for us to practice. It's good for us to, you don't have to get it perfectly. What is important, you will see the importance of what I'm saying when you leave this session. So 1, 2, 3 people, please just take a step into December 2023. What do you see? What are you saying to your friend right now? What are you What are you gisting us in WiHR? What are you gisting? What are you recording in your scorebook? Anyone, please? Okay, let me start. December 2023, I see myself, saying that congratulations to me. I have won 2 major HR awards. Yeah, and I got my dream job. That's me in December 2023. So who is going to go next?
I'd like to go next. December 2023, I would be grateful I got my dream job. One, got at least one HR award, and then started writing my book.
Amazing, amazing. See that Messi has won an HR award, and she has gotten a dream job, and she has started writing a book. Fantastic. Who's going to go next? It doesn't have to be accurate right now. It's just for you to see it, say it. I know if I'm going to win HR awards, I'm already telling myself I need to go and find out what it takes to actually win an award. And I need to begin to position myself to become that person that wins an award. Because the me right now cannot win an award, I promise you. But the me right now can win an award. Because I'm going to begin to do the things that requires for me to win an award. So what do you say to yourself? Who's going to go next? We are closing right after this. I just get 2 people to speak and then we close after this. Speak it into reality. What you speak, what you have, what you see is what you have. Who's going to go next? Am I free to call names? Hi, Zina. We haven't heard your voice today. Hi, Yetunde. Hi, Shakumi. I'm not sure if I pronounced that well. Hi, Chuma Wachuku. Who's going next? If you're just joining, we're doing this reflection, and this is the reflection that we'll do for us to close. We're speaking what we are seeing in December 2023 in the moment. You're imagining yourself speaking to your friend right now, and you're telling your friend, I'm so proud of myself for having achieved this. What are you saying? What are you saying? If nobody speaks in 2 minutes, I think it just means that we would have our closing remark. What are you seeing in your future, and what are you saying? And if you're not seeing it, I just hope you're seeing it. And when you see it, I hope you write it down somewhere and remind yourself that whatever you see, you can have, and you deserve all the beautiful things of life. The people that have it, they don't have 10 heads, they don't have 2 heads. They're human beings like you. So there's nothing that can stop you from having that future that you desire. And remember, picture yourself also talking to your grandchildren, talking about your experience in life. Think about what you're telling them. Are you telling them, oh, I wish I had done more of this. I wish I'd played more. I wish I took that exam at that time. I wish I had gone for that job. I wish I had gone on that. Or you tell them, I have lived a fulfilling life. I did everything that I wanted to do. I have manifested my future. Just think about that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to hand over to Frida now to give us a vote of thanks. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us from the beginning till now. I'm glad I've seen comments about getting value for your time. It would be great also. Please put comments on the Telegram group. Just drop on also things that you learned, so that other people that didn't join would also be able to get some things. Very important. The 17 of us here and just go there and just drop. This is what I got from today's session. You know, it will also encourage others. The next time we have a webinar like this, they would not hesitate to join. I'm certain that there's been a lot of value that has been passed today. Hi, Friday, are you able to speak now?
Okay, thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you for a brilliant session. It's been a great about 3 hours that we've been together. Thank you so much. We've learned so much, especially with the templates. I'm sure we'll all go back to look at them and chart a proper course. Maybe we should have a way to follow up to ensure that it's done through the accountability groups. I'm hoping that most of the leaders are in the accountability groups are here so that they can actually look at it and know how to help their team as well. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that joined today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your data. Thank you for staying with us all this time. And I hope you did get value. Like Madam President said, we'd like you to drop your feedback in the comment section so that we know how well this impacted you. And for those that just joined or had to leave early, the recording will be sent to everybody that actually registered. Thank you very much, everybody. And have a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Temi. Bye, everyone.
Honey, no vex for me. Say I never call you since, but I hope that you are well. I hope you might get tell. Every day I dey pray for you, make you back on bless you.